Yeah, here we are. This is just another comedy act. The debacle. And our inept, crooked government shows up right in the nick of time. And if you're wearing 13 stories worth of steel and concrete on your head, because, I don't know, I'm sure there was no malfeasance. I'm sure none of the inspectors were paid off. I'm sure our government was totally responsible down here in Surfside, making sure these buildings were safe where they knew they weren't for the better part of 3 to 5 years. They interviewed a superintendent who said they had so many sump pumps trying to push water out of the basement parking garage that it most of the time was 2 feet deep. Salt water destroys two things more than anything: concrete and metal. You live in the Northeast, you got a car for 5 years, in through snowstorms, you know what it does to you. But that's not hurricanes and tidal surges. Built a building 13 stories high on the beach. You know why? So these arrogant Americans can tell their friends back in Brooklyn, I got a beautiful ocean view. I'm on the 13th floor. I can see the ocean. And F all you people that would like to stroll along the beach and observe nature in its pristine beauty. I'm not some kind of conservation freak, but building high-rises near any beach ought to be illegal. If for nothing else, the aesthetics. But I digress. You listen to these myopic, egotistical morons in government, and boy, did New York teach the world. So listen to some of their best hits.
We do have urban search and rescue teams that are available to come in and assist as the need is determined. We've also brought in the Army Corps of Engineers to provide some additional technical assistance.
Where were they before the building collapsed? Where was the Army Corps of Engineers inspecting these buildings? Oh, they took that day off. This is little Miss Federale on behalf of Joe Biden here. So she's going to tell you what wonderful things the federal government's doing now that you're wearing a building for a hat.
We are committed to working with the incident commander, with the mayor and the governor and the state team to bring in any additional resources that might be needed throughout this event.
Say they're committed to working with the other bureaucrats. I can dig it, he can dig it, she can dig it, we can dig it, they can dig it. Oh, dig it. Can you dig me out? It's unbelievable. This has gone on now in this country for 21 years. All the police have 5 stars on their lapels. They're more inept than ever. Did you ever hear of a building collapsing in the 40s or 50s? No. Right? Because people had common sense back then.
We have also, as the governor mentioned, began registering families who need assistance, and we are going to be working with them directly, face-to-face, as they learn how to apply for assistance and navigate the federal system. And we are going to make sure that we give them the assistance that they need.
Translation? So you can't sue us. We're going to pay off the relatives. Just like they did on 9/11. Okay? Well, I've heard enough of this stunad. Let's go to the next one. Oh, here she is. This is Stacy Gonzalez Enrique Huelachinga Lavine. Rava. Here she comes.
Good morning, everyone. Here we are.
Buenos dias.
We have the governor. We have the FEMA administrator.
We got Bozo the Clown. We got Liberace.
Teams that they've brought.
They're incredible.
Here in this community.
Isn't it great?
As you know, we've been working around the clock.
Around the clock. We're going to rock around the clock tonight. It's unbelievable.
Here 24 hours a day.
24 hours a day.
Our teams have done an amazing job. And yesterday we suppressed the fire.
Oh.
Had been going out of control. And
Too bad your relatives are broiled at 400 degrees Fahrenheit under the ground. But they're working 24/7. Now, if I sound jaded and cynical, it's only because I've been living with this shit for how long, like most of you. And I just can't sugarcoat it. Because it's this type of myopic, egotistical pathology of these bureaucrats that's going to keep this country going from one disaster to another. They never preempt anything. It's like an old Western. The cavalry shows up after everybody's scalped. Well, let's listen to Mrs. Rava.
Smoke that was inhibiting activities in certain parts of the pile. So around noon yesterday, that was brought under control, making it possible for the search to continue in those areas as well. So throughout the rest of the day and through the night and till now, we are working. We have 6 to 8 squads that are on the pile, actively searching at any given time. Hundreds of team members.
You know what pile they're on? The pile of bullshit. So doesn't that make you all feel good in America? Doesn't that warm the cockles of your heart? That after the building collapses and kills all these people, they're on it. They're on the pile. They're on the job 24/7. 24/7 every time a disaster occurs. Then where you find them? You can't. They're on their yachts. They're having union parties where they're all getting orgified, right? But boy, they know how to send the taxpayer to bill.
Are on standby to rotate.
On sandbags. Oh, standby.
So
Sandbags is like standby.
Not lacking any personnel, but we have the best.
The best.
We have the right people.
The right people.
Number, and we are getting it done. As we continue to sweep these piles with our canines, with our cameras, with our sonar,
With our radar.
standing with our engineers as well.
Isn't that
sure
great?
That our first responders are safe. We need to be sure that the pile does not fall on them.
Yeah, because they can't get boo-boos. No, we don't want anyone getting a boo-boos that's his first responder. Too bad the people, the innocent, stupid civilians that wanted to live in a high-rise on sand near the ocean are wearing a 13-story building on their heads. But isn't it great that Mrs. Levine Rava is going to reassure you? And by the way, she brought in an Israeli survival group because, you know, there were Jewish people in the building. I wonder if the Greeks would send people if there were Greek people in the building. How about the Serbs and the Croats? I find this just, it's amazing insanity. It's amazing, the ego.
Survivors, and we are diligently pursuing that as we do our work. So we're cutting a deep trench to assist us. It's now 125 feet in length. Into the pile, it's 20 feet wide.
Oh, that's so
and
good.
40 feet deep. Now this took all night to build that trench, and as a result of that, we were able to recover 4 additional bodies in the rubble, as well as additional human remains.
Oh, that's wonderful.
As of today, 1 victim passed away in the hospital, and we've recovered 8 more victims on site. So I am confirming today that the death toll is at 9. We've identified 4 of the victims and notified the next of kin.
Oh, wonderful.
My deepest condolences
Yes.
to the families.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's sincere. Well, that makes them feel all better then.
Their lives, and my prayers with the families and the whole community as they mourn this tragic loss. We are making every effort to identify those others who have been recovered.
I've heard enough of her. This is the time we're living in. And they can't wait to tell you how functionary they are after the disaster. Last week, little Miss Ray of the FBI was bemoaning the fact that there's too many terabytes of information. We had no way to anticipate the people storming the Tuileries, the Capitol steps. They tried to take over the government. Yeah, a bunch of half-drunk nitwits waving Trump flags were going to take over the government because they purged through the doors of the Capitol steps. This is the FBI director. He didn't anticipate that. The government can't anticipate this. What caused, let's see. Hey, Bombo Enriquez, why do you think the building came down? That would be gravity. Yeah, see, gravity. I gotta tell you, this is so macabre. And now they're wondering whether or not they should tell the people in the other part of the building to leave. We're going to discuss this. We're going to discuss it.
Major pieces of debris away from that pile.
We're not sure that the people should leave. I don't know about you people. How far down the road would you be?
The state of affairs.
Here's another one.
So, anyway, that's the update. Thank you very much.
Oh, listen to this guy. This guy was rich. This is the guy. He tells maybe the people should leave.
Meeting this morning. And there was a little reassurance for the families, which was wonderful. It was nice to come out of there. The mayor has engineered teams to come from out of the country, into our country, from Israel.
So I feel good. You feel good.
Now been embedded,
we all feel good.
With our teams, our world-class.
Oh, all our teams are together.
One of the questions from the residents was pretty poignant, and they wanted to know if the Israeli team thought that the Miami-Dade team had been doing the right thing.
Here we come.
The gentleman, the commander from the Israeli team, did not hesitate, turned around and said they've been doing exactly the right thing.
It's a mitzvah.
Which was a beautiful validation.
A beautiful validation in a mitzvah.
Sort of techniques and the integrity and the energy and the enthusiasm and the dedication that we have with our team members here. I want to add right now that there's been some discussion about the sister building.
Yes, tell us.
Basically the identical building in almost every way to the one that collapsed, built by the same
crooked builder,
around the same time, with the same central plans, and probably with the same materials. And given that I was not able to answer questions that were coming in from residents about this.
Didn't have enough time to cover his ass. Here it comes.
The other one had collapsed out of the blue.
Right.
I had reached out to Mayor Cava and Senator Rick Scott.
Oh, terrific.
And asked them if they thought it was a good idea if we gave people the choice.
Let me ask you, did you ask your mommy?
Relocate.
Did you ask your daddy?
After that, meeting with Governor DeSantis and his team, we determined that there was going to be support available. So we...
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Hey, Bombo, if you had relatives in the building next door, what would they do? Andale, adios, amigo. Sí. Yeah, I get it. But not this guy. He's going to get mommy and daddy to tell him what a great job they're doing. They got the validation of Israel. Mitzvah! Yahtzee! Well, when they do the forensics on all this, the truth will come out. You'll find out that most of the shit was illegal. But I wouldn't be anywhere near a building like that. See? I'm not an engineer, but I know what is unsafe because I studied existentialism. But here is about the best editorial on behalf of reality.
I think you'll find it very interesting and a lot of fun. So let's start by looking at construction costs of our new factory.
What's the product?
That is immaterial for the purposes of our discussion here, but if it makes you happy, let's say we're making tape recorders.
Tape recorders? Are you kidding? The Japs will kill us on the labor course.
Okay, fine. Then let's just say they're widgets.
What's a widget?
It's a fictional product. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Tell that to the bank.
Take it easy. Take it easy. It's the first day, you know.
On the board, you will see a cost analysis for construction of a 30,000 square foot facility.
Here it comes.
It encompasses both factory and office space and is fully serviced by all utilities, a railroad spur line, and a 4-bay shipping dock.
Hold on. Why build? Hey, you're better off leasing at $1.25, $1.50 a square foot. Take your down payment and put it into CDs or something else you can roll over every couple of months.
Thank you, Mr. Mellon. But we'll be concentrating on finance a little later in the term. For the time being, let's just concentrate on the construction figures, shall we? You will see the final bottom.
The difference between a mental masturbator professor and a man that's been out in the world in reality. Kind of like Donald Trump.
And the costs of land servicing.
Oh, you left out a bunch of stuff.
Here it comes.
Oh, really? Like what, for instance?
Well, first of all, you're going to have to grease local politicians for the sudden zoning problems that always come up.
There you go.
There's the kickbacks to the carpenters.
Yep.
And if you plan on using any cement in this building, I'm sure the teams would like to have a little chat with you. And that'll cost you. Oh, and don't forget a little something for the building inspectors. Then there's a long-term cost, such as waste disposal. I don't know if you're familiar with who runs that business, but I assure you it's not the Boy Scouts.
That'll be quite enough, Mr. Mellon. Maybe bribes and kickbacks and mafia.
And reality.
How you do business. But they are not part of the legitimate business world.
Not part until the building comes down on your head. So if you're in a high-rise somewhere in America near a beach, and you're talking to Teddy as you turn the lights out when you go to sleep, don't be surprised if you wake up and you have a new name. Barney Rubble.